as we commemorate the National Environmental Sanitation Day with the theme, Stop Open Defecation for Healthy Living. There are many sicknesses that we have that they don't answer to medication. What they need is healthy living. This theme cannot be more apt and timely, especially now that Mr. President recently declared a state of emergency on water sanitation and hygiene with emphasis on ending open defecation in Nigeria. As you are all aware, human activities on the environment have tended to degrade and make the environment untidy and unfit for human habitation because of its unsanitary nature. Consequently, the federal government in 2005 introduced the National Environmental Sanitation Day to institutionalize sound environmental sanitation practices amongst Nigerians through sustained awareness creation and reward for best practices in environmental sanitation, with the aim of improving the living condition of the people through an improved environment. Inspection of premises, solid waste management, and safe excreta and sewage disposal also in 2005. These policy documents are currently undergoing review by stakeholders. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, environmental sanitation involves activities aimed at improving or maintaining the standard of basic environmental conditions affecting the well-being of people, such as clean and safe water supply, clean and safe ambient air, efficient and safe animal, human, and industrial waste disposal, protection of food from biological and chemical contaminants, and adequate housing in clean and safe surroundings. The adequate implementation of these activities will result in improvement of our national environmental sanitation situation and make a great impact on our national health indicators, resulting in a better health status for our people. I was in an estate, and quite a number of estates in Israel and in some other parts of the world, that all that they are looking for is that they will be able to generate the kind of waste that we generate in Nigeria. They generate power from the waste. And we are here, we are crying for power, and yet we are not utilizing the waste that we have. Waste to us is supposed to be a resource. It shouldn't be a problem to us at all. All over the state will take this matter seriously to the extent that we can produce sufficient power, at least for households, and we can be able to generate enough, just a little, for us to be able to do some basic things. I challenge people that are probably researchers or whoever that are here to begin to go into all this. And if people have ideas along these lines, to bring up with us so that we can look into this and ensure that something happens. And Director of Pollution Control is here. We have also Director of Climate Change. All those are areas where we can work together to ensure that we have results, we have products that come out of waste that we generate. Bearing in mind the cross-cutting nature of environmental sanitation and the magnitude of the challenges confronting us as a nation, my ministry established a standing National Interministerial Committee on National Environmental Sanitation at the federal level in 2015, and I think the chairman is here in our midst, to ensure effective participation of all stakeholders in the ownership and implementation of national environmental sanitation programs, including relevant policies and guidelines, amongst others, in a holistic manner. You will all agree with me that in spite of our efforts so far, environmental sanitation practices in the country still remain poor, with general inadequate access to basic sanitary facilities And the major outcome of this is open defecation, with its undesirable attendant consequences, such as diarrhea disease, which is the second cause of high morbidity and mortality amongst children under the age of 5, recurrent outbreak of cholera, malnutrition in children, etc. Part of the suggestions is that you should defecate into a plastic bag. And what happens to the plastic bag? You throw it. Because if you did that on the Third Mainland Bridge, the solution is to throw it inside the water. And it's one of the problems, major problems that we have. I'm sure the Navy would not want to hear that at all. Because you block all the channels, you block all the drainages with all those plastics that we are disposing of. So quite a lot of our population use the bush and water bodies as their regular means for excreta disposal, as many households that do not have toilets, while many of our institutions do not have sanitary facilities, and where they exist, they are not adequate, functional, or are misused. I had an experience at one of the universities that I attended myself. It was my personal experience. I woke up in the middle of the night in a postgraduate hall of a university. I won't mention the university because it's the best university in Nigeria. I went to the toilet in the middle of the night. And of course you will sit on the seats that you have there, the toilet seat. And I just started to go into action. And something jumped inside the toilet, reaching out to me. I ran out naked out of the toilet. What was it? A rat had fallen inside the toilet seat. So the rat was jumping, trying to get out. And here I was wanting to supply. It was a very terrible experience in the middle of the night. But that's the kind of universities, secondary schools, primary schools that we have. This is unacceptable and has placed a burden on us as a country to reverse this as a matter of urgency. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my ministry, in her efforts in promoting access to hygienic sanitary facilities in the country, complementing the efforts of the local government authorities who have the constitutional responsibility in line with the fourth schedule of the 1999 Constitution, has embarked on the following. 1. Initiation and implementation of the program tagged Clean and Green, aiming to end open defecation in Nigeria by 2025 is too far away. Provision of toilets and other sanitary facilities to communities under its community-based waste management program. Commenced sanitary inspection of all federal government establishments and public places, that is markets, hotels, abattoirs, motor parks, etc. Our toilets in the Ministry of Environment are all being refurbished, renovated, because of the results that we had from the inspection that was undertaken. Because we must live by example. If you go there now, many things are changing. Some people are not happy that our toilets are changing. Because they don't like to stay at work. They say they are going to toilet, so they leave the office and go. Develop criteria for the assessment and selection of the cleanest state in Nigeria for annual award during subsequent sanitation day like this. Finalizing the process for the establishment of sanitation desk in the 36 states of the Federation and FCT for environmental health and sanitation surveillance system. Youth and women empowerment programs in environmental sanitation, By the way, I want us to put our hands together for the representative of the grassroots environmentalists. With all due respect, especially to Chief of Naval Staff, I think her presentation was the best that we had today. It's just because it came from a woman, that's what qualified it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, so effectively solve our sanitation challenges, to effectively solve our sanitation challenges and put a permanent stop to open defecation in Nigeria, we need the collaborative efforts of all stakeholders, that is the three tiers of government, the private sector, non-governmental organizations, and our development partners, not only to do the talking, but also take practical steps and actions, individually and collectively, as agents of change, to ensure everyone, everywhere, has access to environmental friendly sanitary facilities and safe environment for sustainable development. I wish to actually recognize the head of Department of Environment in AMAC. I was made to understand you were in Buhari, and in Buhari you did an excellent job. So I'm expecting that AMAC is going to be a lot better. Please let's put our hands together for this. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me end this address by stating that there's no sure way of enjoying tomorrow than tendering our environment today. Therefore, let us make environmental sanitation a priority and create a movement to stop open defecation in our country. I thank you for your attention, and I want to plead with you on behalf of so many lives that are tied to many files on my table to permit me to leave some few minutes after this, and I will wish you a very fruitful deliberation today. Thank you.